All right, so in this tutorial, I'm going to walk you through how to actually set up a Facebook page, set up a Facebook shop, obviously, and apply so that you can connect that shop into Marketplace. Okay, I'm going to walk you through the entire process. Now, keep in mind, it's been a while since I've signed up for a business manager like we're going to talk about here. It's been a while since I've created an actual Facebook page, right? And it's been a while since I've applied for a shop, at least 3 months or so, right? So I'm piecing this together. Obviously, I remember the steps and I kind of did like a brush up before this tutorial. The only reason I'm creating this tutorial is because it's heavily requested and I want to show you how to create a shop in case you don't know. But obviously, if you have this common sense already or you understand how to do it, you can skip this lecture and move on to the next one, right? So first things first, regardless of what your next step is, you need to set up a business manager account, right? So you want to go to business.facebook.com, and this is typically what people use to run advertising, but you're obviously going to run your Facebook shop within Commerce Manager, which is just a tab within Business Manager, right? So you're going to go to business.facebook.com and then obviously sign up for a business manager account, right? Now, once you sign up for a business manager account, you're going to want to create a page. Now, you can create a page in two different ways. You can create a page from your personal Facebook profile, right? And then you want to go down to the left tab, what you can't see right here, but like the left tab, and it says pages at some point. And from there, once you click pages, you can create a page. That's probably the easiest way to do it. And then obviously it'll take you to a screen that looks like this. You type in the name of your page. Obviously, you categorize it, maybe a short description about what it is or what the brand is or whatever, and then you create the page. It's really that simple. Once you're in the page, you just want to make sure that like you have a decent looking cover photo and you have a brand image, obviously that's like your profile image. You don't have to put too much effort into that, especially when starting, because it's not going to matter all that much. Although you definitely want to have a background image, like a cover image for your page. You definitely want to obviously have a profile image, and you want a generic kind of broad name here, because if you have a specific name, it's going to be weird because you're not sure specifically what you're going to be dropshipping or what you're going to be selling on Facebook Marketplace or within your Facebook shop, right? You're going to be selling a number of different things. And so that's why I always recommend like a broad name. And that could be like, I don't know, like 123 customs, right? Like that's a terrible name, but like that's broad, right? As opposed to like the furniture store or like, something like you get what I'm trying to say, right? You want to avoid being super specific because you're not always going to sell within the same niche and the same type of product. You're going to be selling a bunch of different things. And so you want to keep the name broad. All right. Once you set this up, then obviously you can connect it within Business Manager. Now, if you're within Business Manager, and I set up a random one here just to kind of show you like a different tab down in my Business Manager. So once you're in Business Manager, whatever your actual name and profile that you set up is, you're going to want to go into that. It's very, very easy to do. And then you'll see the tab here, and I'm literally on the home screen under the random one that I just created. And you're going to see like you can create a new page or add to an existing page by going to settings here, right? So what you want to do is you want to go to business settings. So I right clicked and opened that already. You don't have to right click, just open business settings. Obviously make sure you're under that specific account. I have multiple accounts that I run. You're probably only going to have one, or if you have a new one that you're creating, obviously that's the one that you're going to want to put your shop under or whatever, then make sure that that one's selected, right? Now, once you're in business settings, you'll see here, again, I'm in the same thing. And right here, it says all the Facebook pages that you've added to Business Manager will be listed here. And then you want to drop down and click that actual page so that you can then connect that page to a Facebook shop, right? So we're going to add a page right here. And we are going to add the page that you either created via your personal profile right here, or you can just create a new page right here. Okay, if you haven't already done that. So if you haven't gone into like personal and set the page up already, which I think is a little bit easier, because then it's really easy to kind of, do your profile photo, your cover photo, and kind of mix and match, maybe add like a slight description there. Those things are all easy to get done. But if you don't do them, then obviously you can do it in this step right here by going to business settings and then creating a page, right? I always choose like brand or product. It doesn't really matter. And then obviously you're going to create a random page name. So I'm going to type one in randomly here. So I came up with a random name that's kind of broad. It's not the best name ever, but obviously it took me like, a minute to come up with. Wanted to keep it broad. Didn't want to go too specific. You can come up with a better name than this, obviously. And then you just want to pick a category. So you can go like, where's the one about retail? You could go home decor, you could go, it really doesn't matter. You could go brand here. It doesn't matter. You just want to kind of categorize it the best that you can, right? And then you create the page. Now that you've gone ahead and created the random page, you'll see that once you start it here, you can see start selling from your page in just a few steps. And if you get started, this is how you can set up your shop. So click get started, and then it'll walk you through how to actually go ahead and set the shop up. All right. So you just walk through the actual steps here. Okay. So next, check out on another website, which there's a bunch of different ways to approach this. Some people hook in like a Shopify store. Some people hook in a WooCommerce store. And then they try to integrate software with their store and connect back into Facebook. That is something I'm testing and playing around with, but is not something that I recommend doing just yet, okay? The best way to do it is the way that I'm going to show you in this actual, tutorial and then in this actual section here. And that's just do it manually. I'm going to show you software that's going to take a lot of the work out for you, but it's the best way to approach it right now because all the other stuff is just speculation and it's not fully tested yet. Whereas the manual way that I'm going to show you, where you can kind of semi-automate it if you decide to hire or if you, use the software that I recommend that I'm going to show you in these tutorials here with Shop, is the best bang for your buck because it's proven and it works the best, okay? So I'm gonna say check out with Facebook. That's the best way to go right here. And always, I have found that I don't know if it's just a glitch on my business manager specifically, but when I turn Shop Pay on, I always run into issues applying. And I've applied for about 4 shops already, so it's every single time. Now, you might not run into that issue, so if you want to have this checked, you can. This just enables Shop Pay also at checkout, which gives you more customers potentially. But again, I always run into the same weird issues when I select Shop Pay, and I don't run into those issues when I don't, okay? And the original shop that I actually created that I'm only selling on currently, I have other ones as backups that I'm kind of playing and testing around with, but the main one that I sell on currently does not have Shop Pay enabled and sells perfectly fine with high revenue and good profit margins, okay? So this is not needed, and I'm gonna recommend that you turn it off, but if you wanna try to apply with it on ahead of time, then that's fine too. If it doesn't work, then come back obviously and turn it off, okay? Now I'm gonna click next. Now, what's the business email that you obviously want, registered for your actual accounts? And really what's going to come here is it's going to come, customer emails or any disputes that might arise or customer questions that might come. They're going to be emailed here, as well as all your order notifications are going to be emailed here. So make sure that this is a working email that you check frequently. This is important, and it's going to notify you when you have a new order, when you have a new dispute potentially, when you have a new refund request, when you have a new question from a customer. All of those things are going to go to this email, so this is important. And then click next. Now, you want to name your catalog. I always just name it like something similar to what I name my brand. So I think the brand, I honestly don't even remember. Oh, 3-Way Customs right there. So 3-Way, I would just say 3-Way Shop, right? Or 3-Way Customs Apparel or 3-Way Customs, style. What doesn't really matter. So I'm going to say 3-Way Shop is going to be the name of the catalog. And then you just agree to the commerce. I can't talk. You agree to the catalog manager terms and obviously the Facebook advertising policies. I'm not going to cover advertising to your listings. I don't think that that's necessary. I have extensive experience running ads, obviously to not to e-commerce products a little bit in the past, but mainly to information products. And I know just how hard it is to be profitable. So I'm not saying you can't boost your items and be profitable. You can, but it's very, very difficult to do so. And chances are you're going to be wasting a lot more money and losing money boosting your products. And so I don't recommend it. Trust me, I have experience with it. Okay. I'm not saying it can't work. I'm just saying you're throwing more complexity into the issue and into the problem where it's not needed, right? You can make great money just going after organic traffic, and it takes a lot of the complexity out of it. And it's going to take a lot of your expenses out of it when you're already spending a lot of money on products as it is, okay? Now we're going to click next. And then you're just going to start editing these things, right? You need to edit your checkout menu. You need to edit your checkout method. You need to edit your business name and input the business name that you actually have. So this is going to be where you're going to put in your sole proprietorship if you're just a sole proprietor and it's just you. If you're just doing it as a personal person, obviously, same thing. Or if you actually have a business with an EIN that you're going to put in there, that's what you're going to go ahead and do there, right? Checkout method, I'm going to walk you through. The business email is already done pretty much. And then the catalog is pretty much, already done as well, right? So I'm going to keep this right here because I've already input these things here. But your business name, again, you're just literally going in, you're putting in, if I was doing it like as a sole proprietor, as just me, I would say like, okay, Bryan Guerra. I would then put in my social security number and I'd put in my address, and then I would come back and then obviously submit my shop for review. If I was doing this under my business name, I would put my business name in there. I would put my EIN for my business in there. I'd put the address of my business in there. And then again, I would come back and submit my shop for review. Now, checkout methods are pretty self-explanatory. We already covered that. You want to check out Facebook. I always turn shop pay off, and then I go next. And then, once all this is pretty much done and you've done all this, and all this stuff looks good, then you just want to check this off and you want to submit your shop for review. Okay. It's really that simple. That's how you apply for it. Now, once you are accepted to Facebook shops, if you're not accepted, just reapply. I've heard, sometimes it can take a couple weeks to be accepted or for them to actually, go through the review process. If you don't get obviously accepted, then just keep reapplying. It happens from time to time. Sometimes there might just be something that flags like in their algorithm where they say like, okay, something looks fishy here, or like we don't like the name of your page or whatever it might be. So just keep applying. I've had students that apply multiple times and finally get accepted on like the third or the fourth time. It seems to be luck of the draw. That happened with one of my stores where I had to apply a couple times, but all the other ones I only had to apply once. Okay. Also, once you do get accepted with your shop, they're going to want to verify your documents. So make sure you're listening to this. Make sure that if you apply as a business with an EIN, you have information that backs up that business and an address for that business, and all your information is similar to what you put in when you applied, right? Because if they go through if you get your shop accepted, but then you don't have verification proving that your business actually is located where you said it was located and under the name that it's under, then your shop is accepted, but your payments will never be accepted on that account. And so you're never going to have a shop anyway. Okay. So that is important. Make sure that's crucial. Make sure that when you're applying, if you don't have a business and you don't have proof that your business is at the address, whether that's an electricity bill, a bank account that shows your business address, proof that you've paid like a credit card for your business and the address of the actual bit, like whatever it is, there's a bunch of different, like a tax document that shows the address of your business, right? If you don't have proof that your business is at that location under that name, do not apply for it, okay? Because then you won't get accepted. Even if your shop is accepted, when you get verified after that, they're never going to, go through your payments and accept you, okay? So make sure that when you apply, whether it's personal or if it's a business, that all your information can be verified and you're actually going with the correct information, okay? And then you're pretty much good to go, and that's how you apply for a shop. So now that you've gone ahead and actually set it up, what you'll see here is you still need to set up the shipping and returns here and the payouts, okay? So this is exactly what I just said. You'll see here's the step that we're at. Like, we're completing a standard review of your commerce account. So they're basically reviewing the commerce account. We still need to set up the shipping and returns, and then we still need to set up our payouts, okay? Now, when you come into setting the shipping and returns up, it's pretty self-explanatory. So if you just come to next, you just need to add standard shipping. That's what I always do. You can charge for expedited shipping. You can charge for rush shipping if you want. That's a way to make a markup and extra money, because the shipping isn't really necessarily going to change much, especially if you're using like a fast, supplier like Walmart or Amazon or something like that. Although I always just charge standard shipping, and I just feel like it's easier, right? You want to take as much complexity out of it and as many choices out of it as you possibly can. So that way, when you're going through and processing orders, you don't have to check to see if there's a change there in the shipping and make sure it that way, right? Everything's going to be standard. Everything is going to be the same. That's the way that I recommend it. You don't have to take that recommendation, but that's what I would suggest, okay? Now, the next thing is the standard shipping. So if you come here and you click add, I always just go 2 days minimum, 7 days maximum. You can't go more than 7 days. They won't let you. And obviously, if you're going with something as little as Prime, it could be even 1 day. So you could go 1 day, although I like to give myself a little bit of a buffer zone. So usually I'll go like 2 to 7 or 3 to 7. It's just typical on how I set it up, right? Now, on the very first shop that I opened, I always charged for shipping and didn't really run into any issues. And this was always $5 for standard shipping. One of the things that I noticed as I started to, upload more and more products to that shop and start making more and more sales was that one of the things in the Insights tab that Facebook gives you is your percentage of one of the metrics that goes red immediately for that shop, which is a bad thing, obviously, is the percentage of your listings that offer free shipping. Now, that if that's red, then clearly they're giving you a bump and a boost for offering free shipping. Clearly they're, potentially trying to move away from charging for shipping. Now, that's probably because they're competing with Amazon Primes and places like that, where customers are pretty much, have the expectation of the fact that shipping is going to be free in a lot of ways. And so if they're pushing you to offer free shipping, I would recommend it moving forward. Again, my first shop that I sell on for the majority of charges $5 for standard shipping, because that lets me obviously make more money, and the way that I can charge and make the items look cheaper, but then I charge $5 for shipping, which, like, when somebody's about to check out, and I was of the mindset, and I do the same thing on personal Facebook as well. Like, $5 isn't really that much of a markup. So, like, if somebody really wants the item, they're willing to pay $5 for shipping. Not a big deal. But again, since it looks like they're trying to push free shipping, I would assume that they're giving you a bump in rank or a benefit of some kind for offering free shipping. And so that's what I'd recommend moving forward. Okay, so then we're going to save that as free, and now you're offering free standard 3 to 7 day shipping, or 2 to 7 day shipping, or whatever you wanted to do, right? Now, next, with the return policy that pops up, you always need to accept returns up to 30 days. And again, that same email that you put in before should be there, and then you can click next and then submit it, okay? And now you'll see that you've created your shop and obviously applied. You've set up shipping and returns, and that's in review. And now you can set up your payouts, which is exactly what I was covering before, right? So this is the crucial part, because when you're going through your payouts, you need to make sure that your business, or your personal name and the addresses and everything that you put in can be verified with a document, because they will check as soon as you get accepted, and they won't release any of your payments or funds to you until you go through that approval process, okay? So I'm going to walk you through this and kind of show you how it works. So next, this is your business address, obviously. So once when you come back into the business category, which is the next thing, you can decide here whether you're doing personal, which is just yourself as like a sole proprietor, or if you're going with your business. If you're going with your business, then your business address comes in here. So I'm just going to put like a random address in there, obviously, just as like a test, or it might just let me go through. Okay, it's going to let me go through. So you want to put either your business address in here or your personal address, depending on which one it's, obviously you're going to be applying for. So with business category, this is where you're going to suggest, or this is where you're going to basically pick what your category is. I think there's one that's like, okay, miscellaneous and specialty retail shops. So then we're going to click next. Now, your business, obviously, where it's registered, or if this is you specifically, where you obviously live, and then your state tax registration number. So basically what your state tax registration number is what you're going to need. The way that you can get a state tax registration number is the same way that you can obviously go ahead and apply to get like a wholesale permit or a reseller's license. So right below this video, I'm going to actually drop a video that I did a while back on how to get a reseller's permit or how to get a wholesale license. It's very, very simple. I don't want to kind of touch on it too much in this video, because I break it down in like 5 minutes in that video. So if you do not have this yet, then you need to go ahead and obviously apply for that using either your business or your personal name, and then apply for a state tax registration number. It's very, very easy, okay? So you're going to need your EIN, if you don't already have a business EIN, and you can get an EIN under your, if you're just you can get an EIN under your name. If you have a business, you should already have an EIN. Again, check the video below after this if you are stuck on this actual step. And then once you get an EIN for you specifically or for your business, which you should already have if you have a business, then you can go apply at your state website for your state tax registration number. And basically that will let you buy things, from wholesale companies, or, even input that into Amazon or Walmart or any of those retailers or any wholesale companies in the future that you decide to make your suppliers, so you can avoid paying sales tax, right? It's a great way to kind of increase your profit margins over the long term, but also is something that you need to apply right here when you're actually applying for a shop, okay? So I'm going to skip this. Obviously, I put my state registration number in here. It's not your EIN, and it is not your social security number. You need to apply for this. So if you're stuck here, pause this video, watch the video below, and then come back to this right now, okay? Now we're going to move on. This, again, your representative is either going to be a business or you. So if you're just yourself as an individual or sole proprietorship, then you're going to click individual or sole proprietorship, put your name in here, all your other information, then move on, and then put your individual bank account in next, right? Now for business type, if you're a business, if you're a partnership, which the majority of you obviously won't, you're not going to be a nonprofit. So the majority of you are either going to be a pass-through sole proprietorship, or you're going to be a corporation that's either an S corp, or maybe there's a lot of different ways you can do it. But the majority of you are probably going to be a sole proprietorship. Some of you might be an S corp. So pick the whichever one fits you best. Then obviously, once you put that in, it's going to tell you for your business name, your business EIN, obviously. If you're not going with an individual or sole proprietor, if you are going with one of these, you won't have to put in a business name or an EIN. And then your representative information, obviously your date of birth, if that's you, which I'm assuming it would be, and then moving on to your bank account. Now, this is going to be the bank account that you want payments transferred to, okay? So the reason that this is on file is so that they can obviously pay you and also deduct things from that bank account, or they'll never really deduct things from your bank account. It'll just, like Amazon or eBay, deduct from your actual account balance. So that's if somebody files a chargeback or if you issue a refund and stuff like that. So I literally have never had Facebook deduct anything from my bank account. It always just deducts from my account balance, and then they pay me a little bit less in my next payment, right? So this is put simply like where they're going to pay you to, right? So if you're an individual, you put in your individual bank account, right? If you're a business, then you put in your business bank account, and then you can click finish, and that's how you move on there. So that's the next step, essentially, of creating your shipping and returns policy, as well as setting your payments up.